Okay, so live. Hi everybody. Today we're gonna be doing a quick webinar on why IU Indianapolis with our guest speaker Tamsyn. If you would like to introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tamsyn O'Reilly. I'm currently a senior. I graduate in May this year of 2026. I'm a dual major in forensics and biology with a minor in anthropology.
So then we're gonna get started with the first question, which you kind of already answered. But first of all, like where are you from? What's your major and when do you graduate?
Sorry about that. I usually just do it all together, but um, so I'm currently an international student from South Africa. I come from the little city Johannesburg. So, like I said, I'm a dual major in forensics and biology, with a minor in anthropology. So, did I miss something? I think I missed
I think
something.
that was it. So coming from South Africa, what was the transition like to Indianapolis, or in like what ways did you feel supported through the transition?
It was very difficult in the very beginning. However, the school did try and make it very, how can I say, they try to acclimate me very well in terms of like O team, the first year seminar, because obviously a lot of students will have to go into that. I wasn't in the international one, although I did have that opportunity as well. They kept in touch with me through email, through text message, which also helped quite a bit if I had any questions regarding international questions. So overall, they were really good as a whole, communication wise, and for any other resources that were required or that I may have needed. So, yeah.
Yeah, nice. So what would you say like campus life has been like?
I will be honest, my first year, I wish I had stayed on campus, because I did miss out a lot. I did commute from up north a little bit every day, as I did have a home there to stay in for the first year. So I missed out on a lot of things. My recommendation to future students would to stay on campus their first year, even if it is just to experience the student living, the housing, the life, everything like that. But the stuff that I got involved in, like when they did a WoW week, that was pretty interesting. I did enjoy that. So they do offer quite a few activities for you to meet new people, make friends, all of that stuff. I know the big one was like the ice cream social. I personally love that. I did that every year since I've been here. So, and it's just nice to see how you can mingle with a lot of you. I actually met a guy from Brazil, at one of these socials. So there's a lot of networking that happens at these places that I do recommend going to, and that's what helped me.
Yeah. And with that, would you say there were like activities other than that that like helped you get acquainted and comfortable or that you joined in on?
There was a lot of so obviously each school has their own little get-togethers and like organizations and groups like that. So like I know the School of Science had like a science picnic. So that was like another thing that I joined, that if you are part of the school, they'll send out an email about it.
Mhm.
So each school has their own thing, and that's another thing that helped me, to get to know like my community, my professors, all my advisors as well, because they all go to that. So that was like another thing that helped me as a international, I think.
Nice. Um, let's see. Why can you talk a little bit more about like why you chose your major and like what you plan to do with graduation coming up?
Yeah, of course. So little did I know I was gonna go into chemical engineering at first, but I realized that wasn't for me until I started looking up forensics, because that was one of my main interests. Funny enough, it was from a TV show. I know it doesn't happen exactly like that, but it's still the mere concept of, trying to help someone or give them a voice, that even though they're not living, like they're deceased or something like that. Because I was going to go into the medical field, but I can't deal with people, or not in a bad way. It's just I can't deal with broken bones or anything like that. So I realized that that wasn't my route. Another thing is I've thoroughly enjoyed the puzzles that you get throughout forensics and biology, whether it be lab work or whether it be out in the field. So that was another thing that really intrigued my interest for sticking with it.
Mhm.
Um, and when I got here, they produced they said, why not go into a dual major? Because there was only a few different classes. And that's another thing I like about IU is a lot of the classes run in with each other. So you can dual major in quite a few degrees, which makes it very friendly for you, like user friendly if you want to add something on or have a minor or something like that, because they all basically require the same thing. Um, and why I chose IU is mainly for the aspect of the FEPAC accreditation, because this school I have noticed has a lot of accreditations, and you can walk out of this university once you graduated and get a job because of those specific programs. So I know we have FEPAC accreditation, we have the ACS accreditation as well, which is for the chemistry side, so anything in chemistry. And this is a big thing for labs and government work. This is just obviously me speaking on science perspective, but I know that everyone else in the liberal arts or everywhere else has gotten a good job because of the standing of IU. Um, for graduation, I plan to stay here and work a little bit longer before I decide to leave.
Mhm.
I'm hoping that I'll have a few jobs lined up. A few of them would be ISP or the FBI. I currently do work alongside ISP's work. We have done some of their samples in our classwork. I know for forensic genetics, there was a requirement to do a mock trial, and their samples actually came from ISP. So they are very well intertwined with IU, which is very nice. So there's options. Another idea is if I don't get that, then work with Eli Lilly. That's another big how can I say, company that we associate with and getting jobs from. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people have questions about like what it's like gaining real life experience out here and like internships or just jobs while you're in college. Do you
Mhm.
have any experience with that? And if you do, like what was that like for you?
So I never went into an internship. I did, however, do lab work. So that was one of my concerns actually, is if I didn't have an internship, would I not get a job? And the answer was that that didn't matter. Not saying an internship doesn't matter, but the reason why it didn't matter on my aspect is I have 4 years of lab work or lab research, should I say. So that helped on my perspective, and that's one thing I do recommend as a freshman is get into a lab if you're going into not forensics, for science. So anything science related, chemistry, biology, engineering, even just get into your lab research, just volunteer, do some hours, show that you're interested. If not, go for an internship. There's a lot of internships here in Indy. I know a lot of students that have gone and worked at major companies and now officially have a job with them. So, and they want the students because they know you are willing to learn or willing to put your heart into it and, always put your best foot forward. So that's my biggest thing is that you can't say you can't find an internship or you can't find research because it's everywhere. Our whole university is known for research, and we have major internship companies that actually just collaborate with IU alone, just in the Indy area. So, I mean, you're always going to have opportunity here no matter what.
Yeah. Thank you. Um so with like doing research and stuff, would you say there was a professor or an advisor or someone who helped made a difference specifically like in your life and in your education?
So going on that, I had the first year seminar, which is the FYS or slash O team. I used to actually work for them as well. What they do is basically it's trying to help you adjust to the college life instead of just being thrown into it. And that was one of the things I'm grateful for that this campus actually has is those first year seminar classes because they pair you in based on your major and degree, like your career path.
Mhm.
And we had a few professors come in for like guest speakers to come and say, this is what they do. This is their research, why they do it, how they got into it. So I'm very grateful for that because my PI, her name is Dr. Susan Walsh. She has also been a great impact on my life. It was a struggle in the beginning, I will be honest, but now being an undergrad and being able to run my own research project has been great because you don't really get that opportunity as an undergrad. But if you show you've been there for the amount of time that you have, you are more likely willing to get those projects and be put on a paper or be published even before you graduate. So that's another thing, is professors are always willing to let you come into their research, ask them, speak to them, send them emails. Your advisor might direct you to specific research labs or internships that will help you, but we also have the preps office that is willing to also guide you on that, on like a recommendation letter or your CV or something like that if it's required for that specific route.
Yeah, nice. Well, it seems like you've done a lot while you've been here in undergrad, and like with that, like how would you say you've seen yourself grow from a freshman to now a senior?
Um, I've definitely, that is a big word for me, is growth. I have definitely grown in, from coming from freshman, I knew nothing. And I was like, okay, I'm never going to get through this because I didn't have family and I've been here all on my own ever since. But I did get friends throughout these programs. I mean, my best friend comes from my specific degree, let alone. So her and I, we were in the same classes and everything. She was a year ahead of me, but we have a good friendship and we're still friends now. And going from freshman to now through my senior year and seeing the whole difference is that you just have to keep going. As hard as it may seem, there is a support system. There is always going to be someone there that is going through the same thing as you. And I always recommend to speak up because when you don't and you keep quiet, you think you're going through it alone. But the minute you say something, someone will come and be like, oh, you too? And you can speak about it, you can have a conversation and you can say this is what I'm struggling with, you know. I've had a better support system within IU just by saying what my struggles are. I mean, living alone and having, like, you know, being by yourself, there's been a lot of help from a lot of students that I'm friends with now today who have been through the same thing or maybe even worse, you know. But there's always going to be someone there for you is what I can say. So going through all these years, they are rough. They are really rough, but in the end, they are worth it. I've seen myself through freshman, through sophomore, and in my senior year, I'm finally like, wow, I did that. You know, you just push through, you keep going. Your advisors are always there to ensure that your classes are met, your prerequisites, and everything. So that's another good thing that I've noticed as well.
Nice. Well, thanks for sharing. Those were the questions I had. So if you're okay with it, we're gonna open it up to questions the audience may have.
Of course.
Okay. Awesome. Let's see if those roll in.
Oh, wow, there's another South African in the chat. I'm so happy to see more South Africans. I haven't met one yet here, so it's been, I'm definitely keeping my eye out.
We have a question asking what your favorite event that you've attended on campus has been.
Um, this is a good one. Like I mentioned, one of them is the ice cream social that I do thoroughly enjoy. As a forensic student, you don't have to be a forensic student, but I've attended what is it called? A murder mystery. So
Hmm.
they do like a dinner at the graveyard and you can go there. You don't have to be a forensic student or a science student, let alone. They actually posted everywhere throughout the week that they're going to have it. So I went to one of those and that was pretty interesting. Another thing that I enjoyed was the gravestone cleaning. That's like a community thing that they do together. Some classes offer it as extra credit, but it was pretty interesting to see people's names and to see their like it kind of tells your story. So that's like another thing that I really enjoyed. That was an event that we all did together. Um, I'm trying to think of anything else. I know Light Up the Night was pretty good. I never went because every time it went, it was raining. And then they moved it into inside last year. So, and unfortunately, I wasn't here because I was at a conference, but I've heard and seen the images of that, and it seems pretty fun. So, that's one thing. I'm trying to think what the other one was with Jazzy and Jules over the summertime. They always have something going on, is all I can say, and it's always a blast. So, I've always enjoyed the stuff on campus. But my main favorite event, I think, that I resonate with since freshman year is the ice cream social. I recommend if you can go get there. They usually do like sprinkles and stuff like that. I might just be a child on the inside, but I absolutely love it. Um, let's see. So I do see another question here of why I chose IU instead of other universities. Um, so that is a good question. Going back on that, I'm sorry, can I answer that one?
Yeah,
Just
go ahead.
making sure because I didn't know if we had to. So I chose IU purely because they actually reached out to me. They saw that I had sent out quite a few emails to other universities because it kind of like it's on their radar. They can actually sense, like they can pick up when you're looking at certain programs and stuff like that. And they reached out to me, and I didn't even know about the feedback accreditation until like I was in the university, which is a great thing. But that was the main reason why I actually chose IU, was for their accreditations and their good standing. Um, Along with other universities, I looked at Tennessee and I looked at many others in Texas, everywhere else. A lot of them don't offer what IU has to offer, especially in degree paths. I mean, I think we have over 800 different degree paths that you can go into, along with dual majoring and minors. So there's a lot of option here, and you're not limited. And your advisor is always willing to support your crazy ideas, because mine did. So I that's another thing. It's very community based here, and they are always concerned about you compared to like other universities that just consider you as a number. Like they don't actually know you by your name. They just don't care that as long as you're paying your tuition. They would be like, well, you've got the degree, that's all you got to do. And I've encountered this with a lot of universities because I reached out to them, and some of them just don't even get back to you. So you would rather be somewhere where you are wanted rather than a place that just considers you like, oh, if they're paying their tuition, that's all that matters.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
what
I know you talked about working for O Team, and there's a question about on-campus jobs for international students. So could you share a little bit about that?
There's actually a few on-campus jobs. So yes, I would. As an international, it's pretty hard finding a job, but this university does make it very user-friendly, is what I've noticed. I've worked in admissions office for School of Science. I've worked in as a school ambassador, like for the School of Science as well, and O Team and FYS. So what I did there for FYS is I was a coordinator and I was a mentor. So I helped the students, the freshmen, come in as in their fall year, and I would guide them, give them tasks. It's like a specific class situation, and it's just to help them better know their resources. So like if there are an issue or if you need something specific, where do I go? What do I look for? So that's like one of the jobs that I really thoroughly enjoyed, especially getting to know the students. Because let me tell you, that's a community that I never thought I needed, and that was my family. I did create a whole family out of O Team. over 300 students every year knew who I was, especially being a coordinator was fun like that. Even just being a mentor, they always greet you from then on and you have friends. I
Mhm.
mean, in the semester, you can't really be friends with your students, but after that, they will forever remember your face or what you did for them or how you helped and guide them. So that's another thing that I thoroughly enjoyed. And majority of us in the office were internationals, funny enough. So a lot of us came from India or Mexico, and we always had a good dynamic with each other because we understood each other's struggles from being from a different country, not having family here. So that was another thing. I do know Handshake is a great way to find a job for international students as well. They always are posting something on there and they're always willing to help you. If you have a specific reason that you need to get a job, go to the office. They'll always speak to you. The office could be your advisor's office, your actual school's office. They all have their own little network that you can work off of. But Handshake is my best bet because that's where I found most of my jobs.
Mhm.
And from there, it's an easy, how can I say, an easy transition into it. All you need to do is get your paperwork in line and you're signed up. So, I mean, I've been doing it for 4 years and it's definitely been something, but it's not hard, is all I can say.
Yeah, nice.
I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Um, there's another one in here asking about how accessible lectures are and how large like your classes have been on average.
Um, so I can't really speak on other schools. I do know science is one of the biggest ones. I think my biggest lecture in my freshman year was 400 students, but I will say it kind of dies down throughout the year because people change their majors, not in any bad way because of the professor or anything. They just have a change of heart or they don't need that class right now and they'll come back to it later. Or they just do it remotely because some of the recordings are how can I say? Some of the professors record their lectures, so you don't necessarily have to commute every day because they understand commuting can be an issue. So they're very user friendly on that. Just discuss that with your professor and make sure that they are aware. Um, in general, I think as I got to my sophomore year, the most I ever had was maybe 30, 25 students in a class. But even in the whole room itself is pretty big and you work in groups, which is also nice. If I'm speaking liberal arts, because I've taken a few classes with them, I would say nothing more than 25 students in a class. That's going on anthropology, um, photography, and some other courses that I've taken with them as well. And it's never been exceeding of 30 students. So, um, but anything science, I can guarantee it's going to be a bit of a hefty
Mhm.
lecture room in the beginning, but it's not intimidating. It's pretty interesting to experience and see throughout the semester.
Nice. Thanks. And I think the last one, shifting away from like school and academics, what would you say the social life has been like for you here in Indianapolis, like in the city or just overall?
Um, so I have actually lived in the city for about 2 years, and then I still am in the city, but I've just slightly moved further south. Um, so the city life, I say, is pretty safe in specific areas. I wouldn't wander off further, like there's specific areas you'll learn to know not to like go to, but they're not near campus anyway. You would have to go a bit of a distance. So I would say that the city life is pretty safe and there is always police officers patrolling the city. I actually worked with them 2 years ago and they are patrolling like nonstop, not to get you or speeding or anything. They're just there to actually look after you, make sure you're safe. I know that the police officers actually patrol quite a bit of the areas of like the student living where they know
Mhm.
students live, so like the Riley Towers, the Luxon Capitol, which is now produced, but they still patrol those areas because they know there's a lot of students there. um, I didn't really have an issue with anyone. I just didn't walk in the wrong places, if I can say that. But there's like I think it's is it Michigan? I think it's Michigan. That long street that goes through the university. If you walk on Michigan all the way to Mass Ave, it's a beautiful street throughout the day, the nightlife, everything like that. And you can go walk around Mass Ave and go walk around the restaurants and stuff like that. And I thoroughly enjoyed it with friends and even alone. Sometimes I would just go and get something to drink or, something like that and have a time just to get out from studying or something like that. So it's pretty safe. I've never had an issue or encountered anything.
Yeah. So then, like, what would be your favorite spot off campus?
Off campus, I thoroughly enjoyed the War Memorial.
Mm,
Walking to that in the summer or the springtime because it's very green, it's very nice. You see everyone is out and about. Another spot that I would go to is Morty, my favorite little spot for getting boba or like something to eat. And just Mass Ave in general. I would walk along or go to like Needlers, which is like that little supermarket, which is pretty cute. I know like Mass Ave in general will have like some things going on if you go up and down the street. Sometimes they have like farmers markets and stuff like that. So yeah, that was my spot for the 2 years was Mass Ave, just that whole street. So
mhm.
anywhere and everywhere.
Nice. Well, I'm gonna see if like a little bit more questions flow in.
I see one person does have a question. They
Mhm.
just didn't say what their question was. I don't know how to pronounce the name and I don't want to butcher it. So,
Let's see.
do professors support international students if they struggle at first? Yes, I have been to a lot of my professors and I have told them or reiterated to them that I am an international and I may struggle at first, but they are very willing to help you with office hours, to give you extra lessons or like to go over the stuff all over again. A lot of professors want to help you succeed. They're not out to get you. They're not here to be mean or rude. I know like some professors may not understand, but every other professor that I've had, I've only had one bad encounter, but he's gone. So I will put that there. Other than that, they are very friendly with internationals. They actually love that you come to their office hours and say, hey, I need help, or I'm struggling with this, I may not understand. Because then they create like a relationship with you in terms of like, okay, I know the student is struggling. Let me help them out where I can. And I know, how can I say? I know that they are more willing to understand you from a different perspective because you're not from here. Because I did a different system back home, and that system is way different to the American system. So when I told them that and I explained that to them, they understood why I wasn't doing as well. Um, if you Are you asking about in classes? Oh, that's a different question. I'm so sorry. I'm just seeing a pop up on the side. So that I would say that they are very helpful going on that aspect. So you don't ever have to worry about that. There's no discrimination here. Everyone is equal. We don't say any bad things. um,
Nice.
I just wanted to see. Are you asking about task and activity classes? Oh, someone. Are you asking about task and activities in classes? Oh, in classes.
Yeah, I think they're asking like what type of assignments or like tasks have you been giving in your classes so far?
Wow, that's a lot. Each class is different. I know like I'll take labs for instance to start off with and then I can go into like different classes. Labs are basically the same. You always write your pre-lab just so that you understand the work and what you're going into because they want to make sure you are safety first before just walking in. So that's about it for a lab, and then maybe you have to write like your notes and stuff down and submit it. That's about it for like labs and stuff. For other classes, those tasks can range depending on the actual subject itself, whether that be um, just like a PowerPoint presentation, an essay question. Some do papers, but not many. It depends. That's more in like your sophomore, not sophomore, that's more in like your junior and senior year when you're getting into research and stuff like that, depending on the path that you take. A lot of them give homework. Like we use a lot of, I'm trying to think. We use Pearson quite a bit because our textbooks are on there. So sometimes there'll be homework on there. But they don't overload you to the point that you don't have time to do it. Like they won't give you question after question after question. They might give you like a problem set and that's about it. And that's your homework for 2 points. Other than that, it just depends on the professor and if there's extra credit or stuff like that. I know, like my ecology class last semester, you had to do a video, like give a video of an animal interaction, but you didn't have to be in it, just for extra credit. I mean, you can do any of that. You can go outside, you can find that. Just all depends on the professor. Other than that, there was not, I can't really say the tasks are like tedious, or like busy work, if I can say that. They actually give it to relate to whatever you're doing. So
Yeah,
I hope
nice.
that helps or answers the question. um, so when I applied, it took me 2 months to hear back. That's how pretty quick they were. So I applied in February, the latest, because I think mine is somewhere in February, and I had to get some documentations uploaded and stuff like that. But it was in April I heard back, so it was about 2 months that it took for them to accept me and everything like that. So I can't say that the waiting period is that long. I will say if it's some cases may be different depending on like your application type or like what you've put into your application, but majority of the time they are pretty quick with their, and like they're getting back to you. um
I guess we could do two right now. There's one asking about a little more about your transition, like being from South Africa, and then kind of like what challenges you faced with that as well.
the biggest challenge I will say that I faced was homesickness. It gets everybody, unfortunately. It's not a bad thing, it's how you deal with it. I realized that having a community helped me through that, because I will be honest, I was ready to pack it up in 2 months and be like, okay, I'm done. But that was just because I felt very alone. I felt like I didn't have anyone supporting me until I put myself out there and actually went and did stuff. And I actually created a whole bunch of friends, and that was like a whole big game changer for me. And that's what took that homesickness away. Another thing is like your assignments make you so busy, and like that also helps distract your mind a little bit. But once you're in your first semester, it gets a lot easier, just because you get the swing of things, you understand everything. So that was my biggest thing that I had to face. I mean, I still get homesickness now, but I haven't been home in 4 years just because I've been so busy here that leaving would require too much of my time or effort to actually go and do that. Another thing that I faced was just time management, but I learned that over the years that you just got to get it done. Start with the easy stuff and then work on the hard stuff, because if you work on the hard stuff prior to the easy stuff, you're just wasting time. So that was one thing I learned as well, is just knock out the small stuff and then get to the heavy load, and always prioritize your exams. Don't cram. I know we all like to do it, because that was another big task of mine, was cramming. And it's not viable, especially in college. When you have like 3 exams in the week, or something like that, or 3 exams coming up, you can't do that. So that's just my biggest challenges that I've had, I would say.
Nice.
Oh, sorry. Just adjusting back to, I didn't answer the South African part. I'm so sorry. So as a South African, I will say, not that this pertains to anyone, I do miss the food. That's going to be the the biggest disappointment, not food wise here, but the food is really good, but you're gonna sometimes want your own home food.
Mm.
I'm still craving my food from back home and it sucks, but you know what, we're learning new things, and I appreciate that, there is other substitutes and you learn to live with it, so that's not the bad thing. But adjusting on that aspect of the food aspect was very different, although there is good places here as well. um but other than that, I think you will do just fine adjusting, especially as a South African, and you also speak the language. Everyone's very supportive, and everyone wants to be your friend, especially if you have an accent from anywhere else in the world. So everyone wanted to be my friend. So I hope that helps as well, having an accent from any country. Everyone wants to hear you talk and say some more things, and you know.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay. Well, I think those are all the questions we have right now.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. Well, thank you for your time. Thanks for being a part of this and sharing your story. Um,
Of course.
it was really nice talking
And
to you.
likewise, I'm glad that I got to be part of this and to be able to help other students. They're not alone in this. We've all been there. We've all done something. But once you get over it, it gets easier.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Of course. Thank you so much.